Hey, this is Frontosas, Cichlids and more. If you watched my videos in the past or here recently, you're going to be really interested about this video. I've changed the different types of foods I've used over the years, and in each video sometimes I'm actually feeding something different than the previous video. Here recently I had a bout where I went several months with fish, feeding my fish only raw deveined shrimp. Now, as far as the water quality, it worked really good, okay? There was less waste in the water. It was doing great. Everything was great. But there's some things I've noticed. So stay tuned so I can tell you the difference between shrimp and artificial crab meat and the one fish food that I decided to stick to, at least for now. And I think you'll be interested to see some of the finds I have, and maybe you can compare them to your own. So stay tuned for this video. So the main reason I went with shrimp, just feeding shrimp all the time, was because I wanted less waste in the aquarium. I could do less water changes if there's less waste. And I can enjoy my fish more because I'm not doing all the horrible, horrendous stuff that entails when you're doing water changes on multiple aquariums. Now, if you've watched my videos in the past on this colony, you can see that there's a lot more Frontosas. Kind of overcrowded this Frontosa aquarium. So I'm really wanting to concentrate on feeding these fish a healthy diet, as well as getting them to where they can breed. I can have some breeding action going in the Synodontises. I've actually had, before I did the overcrowding, I had one fish that went through the process of breeding, and it was the first time and it didn't work out. But what I'm wanting to do is get some good fish breeding, less waste, and good water quality. So why would I change from shrimp? Well, the shrimp happens to be very expensive in the long run when you're taking into consideration how many fish I have. I've now taken down 3 aquariums, but I still have 15 aquariums. I still have the same amount of fish as when I had 18 aquariums. So there's some of them getting compacted into aquariums like this one, where there's more fish in the space that I have. Now I think they'll do just fine, and I decided to go with artificial crab meat. Now the reason I went with for the longest time the frozen shrimp, I could store it, no problems. I could store it, not an issue. Crab meat, once you open it up, you got maybe a week to use it all. But now I've come up with a plan where I use one package basically all at once, and then I go several days without feeding. Now what I've noticed in the past on the shrimp, the fish weren't really gaining weight. They weren't really growing. No matter how many times I fed them, they just weren't putting on any weight. They weren't growing. They liked the shrimp. I don't know if it has less, protein in it or what, but I tell you what, the coloration wasn't as good. I thought it would actually be better than the artificial crab meat, but I can tell you that the artificial crab meat allows better coloration for not only Frontosas, but as far as any other type of tropical fish or freshwater fish that you have. So what we're looking at here is artificial crab meat was cheaper. It put on weight, which is very important if you're wanting to breed your fish. So I'm wanting to breed my fish. So it's cheaper, putting on weight, allowing them to breed, and their coloration's better. Now right now the coloration of these Frontosas are starting to get better. Okay, they've only been in here with this many fish for, maybe 6-7 days. And for Frontosas, it can take several weeks to adjust. Now, not only have I changed the food in this aquarium to artificial crab meat, I've actually increased the flow. And even though the flow has increased by a lot, which I like to have low flow normally, with this many fish I had to have more flow. If you look, they're still spread out throughout the aquarium, not in just one spot. And they seem to be doing good. There's a little bit of aggression, of course, with this many fish. Not much. I had one that just did not adjust. I don't understand why, but I actually try to save the fish, move it to another Frontosa aquarium. Those Frontosas didn't like it as well, so it ended up passing. I guess they just didn't like the fish. Maybe they had something wrong with it. Doesn't matter now. That one's gone. There's a little bit of roughage on, like I say, the fish back there in the back, but as far as fighting, very minimum. If you see the blues are coming out of this fish right here, one of the males right here. I do have several males in this aquarium, but there's not been any fighting with the males. Whopper is still the main alpha male in this aquarium. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some time of feeding some artificial crab meat so you can see it. And you can think about, hey, do I want to spend less money, have them where they can gain weight, breed faster, and just be, you get to use more money for everything else. If it's cheaper, you can use, the money that you're using on shrimp for something else. Now, some of you may only have one aquarium, which the issue of cost may not be as big a deal, but when you're looking at multiple aquariums, you can save on food but still have good quality food, and that's what you should do. So let's take some time to feed these guys. Now, just realize when I put the food in here, they're going to go crazy. And it's going to stir up a lot of stuff. And actually, I just added water to this aquarium, so there's actually a lot of stuff stirred up. So we will be coming back to this aquarium so you can see how it adjusts over the weeks with the mat and filtration, with the algae scrubbers, if things are holding up the way I have set up for the filtration. So far it's doing alright, but we'll see in the future. But let's go ahead and put some artificial crab meat in here and see how they tear into it. Now, you can get artificial crab meat in most grocery stores. It's usually around the fish in the grocery department in the meat section, but you can get it around the world. So if you not live in certain areas, then you still probably have access to this. It can be called something different, but let's just go ahead and put it in there and you see how it reacts to these fish. So you can get it in hunks, but I usually break it apart, and they got strips. Look at them going to it. They're going crazy. Going crazy. You know that the fish like it when they're going like this. I've just had a little bit of a battery failure, so we're going to start off where we left off and show you how they just go for this crab meat. Just put it in, they go like crazy. Now, some of your pelleted food, they may not be as excited as this stuff. I've not seen fish go for food this excitedly if it's pellet food. Like I say, I've used this type of food to breed my Frontosas. What you do, you get them to a good size, get them healthy. High protein food does that. I think it does a lot better than your pelleted food. And within a few weeks after feeding the artificial crab meat, if the fish were mature enough, they bred. So now I'm back to using artificial crab meat, so I think things will turn around for me. We'll be looking at Herman and Changer in future videos because she's becoming more active and putting on some weight. So that looking good. So let me take a moment just to talk about some of the things we're looking at. To sum up this video, I chose artificial crab meat over raw shrimp because of the increased weight gain of the fish, which helps in the breeding, the coloration of the fish, which increases your enjoyment of your fish and others to enjoy them, And most importantly, the cost factor. It is about half the cost or even more for the most part in most areas of the world than raw shrimp is. And raw shrimp price can vary, it can go even higher. So this way it's saving me money, it can save you money, and it also can help you breed your fish a lot quicker than just the raw shrimp. Thanks again for watching Frontosas, Cichlids, and more.